After viewing this video, you should be able to label and define the parts of Freytag's plot pyramid. These are our notes. You can return to these anytime you want. This is a completed look at Freytag's pyramid. We're going to break this up into pieces, though. By and large, our definition of plot is the organization of a story using a beginning, middle, and end. It's not that fancy. However, we want to be able to look at a variety of stories and kind of talk about stories as a whole, or we want to maybe compare and contrast stories. So giving ourselves a common language to talk about plot is really helpful to us. It's also helpful when we're telling stories. If a story is missing a beginning, a middle, and an end, it usually falls flat. And then we can start playing with this structure uh, for really nice effects. So let's take a look at this. If you remember back to conflict, and if you don't, listen to that video again, we have our exciting force where the problem starts, our climax where our two forces that are against each other clash, and we might be able to foresee the direction of the story, which will lead us to a resolution where the conflict is no more. Now, we will be looking at Freytag's plot pyramid. Freytag is a German man from the 1800s who took a look at ancient Greek plays and Shakespeare's plays and mapped out how they were similar in structure. This means that although we English teachers love talking about Freytag's plot pyramid, not every story fits the pyramid. And as a side note, it's clearly not a pyramid. Pyramids are three-dimensional. It's not even a triangle because it's not three connected sides. There's actually four lines that make up Freytag's plot pyramid, but we call it Freytag's plot pyramid. And we like using this for everything, but not every story nicely fits into Freytag's plot pyramid. Not every short story is going to have every piece of this pyramid either. But we're going to walk through the steps. So the beginning is exposition. Exposition, just like the word exit or exoskeleton, it means outside of. Exposition is the stuff that happens outside of the beginning of the conflict. Notice it's before the exciting force. This tells us our main characters, the setting. We're cued into the point of view the author's using. And this is everything that gets the story in place, and then the exciting force or the inciting incident or inciting moment happens, and the conflict is initiated, the main conflict. This leads to a rising action. Things get a little bit more complicated. We're introduced to more characters. Characters might travel a bit. There might be other minor conflict throughout, and it keeps building to our climax, which is where our two forces are face to face, and the outcome of the climax suggests to us what the resolution should be. Now, after the climax, in some stories, we go right to resolution. However, oftentimes, there's a falling action. This doesn't mean that the excitement falls off and it gets boring. Falling action means that things are falling into place, and we have a happy ending, or things fall apart, and we get a disastrous ending, a tragedy. Regardless, our falling action leads us to the resolution, however the conflict resolves itself, whether, again, it's in tragedy or it's in a happy ending. And after the resolution, this last stretch on the diagram is our denouement. It's a French word. Notice we don't pronounce the T at the end, denouement. And the denouement, all of those complications that happen during the rising action, if someone meets someone, someone goes somewhere, we get this mix, denouement unravels it. It's a French word that actually means unraveling. And we get a nice smooth ending where a lot of our questions are answered. If you would like to take a look at some definitions of these pieces, you are responsible for being able to label the 7 parts of Freytag's plot pyramid and explain what each of the points mean. So if you need to listen to this video again, please do. And our goal is to have you label and define the 7 parts of Freytag's plot pyramid.